Head to Safeway this week and enjoy these amazing deals. Clip coupons from the weekly mailer or download them from the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. Signature Select 80% lean ground beef mega pack, 6 pounds or more, just $3.99 per pound. Mix and match 1 pound strawberries, 6-ounce blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries for $2.99 each when you buy 3. And take up to 30% off all sparkling wines when you buy 6 or more 750 milliliter or larger bottles. See you in the aisles.
Welcome to Trip Tales, the podcast where real people share their real trip stories, giving you destination, inspiration, and practical planning tips. Consider this a mini vacation in the middle of your day. I'm your host, Kelsey Graves. Let's go somewhere amazing. Hey everyone, welcome back to Trip Tales. I hope you had an amazing Christmas and are enjoying this funny time between Christmas and New Year's where no one really knows what day it is or what you're supposed to be doing. Because it is such a funny week, I didn't want to release a brand new episode since a lot of you could easily miss it while you're having quality time with family. Instead, I decided to re-release the #1 most listened to Trip Tales episode in 2025. And that's my complete guide to visiting Marco Island, Florida. Hotels, restaurants, activities, cost-saving tips, and the best sunset spots. The sunsets down in South Florida on Marco Island are particularly stunning because the sun sets perfectly out in the ocean, making for a dramatic and beautiful sunset. Over the course of 2025, there were about 40,000 downloads of Trip Tales podcast episodes, which blows my mind and is so exciting. And 1,500 of you have already tuned in to this Marco Island episode, making it the most listened to episode of 2025. If you haven't heard it yet, I think you'll find it helpful in wrapping your head around visiting this little slice of paradise in southern Florida. Another quick reminder that a new series is coming to Trip Tales in 2026 on Wednesdays, and it's called Kelsey Unpacked. This is where I will take a subject and unpack it just a little bit more. It will kick off on Wednesday, January 7th, with me sharing my word and intention for 2026. Every year, I choose a word or phrase to focus on that entire year. I've been doing it for 4 years, and I truly think it helps shape my year and my goals. And beyond that, other episodes will include what travel we have booked for 2026, skincare in the air, favorite places to shop before a trip for swimsuits and resort wear, airplane entertainment, like other podcasts I'm listening to, books I'm loving, or shows we're watching, and so much more. So tune into those Kelsey Unpacked episodes on Wednesdays to go a little bit deeper with me, and rest assured that every Monday we will still have a classic Trip Tales, a trip recap with a guest sharing their entire trip from start to finish. And with that, let's get into the most listened to episode of 2025, Marco Island, Florida. Today, we are going to be diving into everything you need to know about taking a trip to Marco Island, Florida. When I first started this podcast a year ago, my very first episode, episode 1, was about a family's trip to the Hilton on Marco Island, Florida. And then episode 7 was about a family's trip to the JW Marriott on Marco Island. And those episodes have been some of my most popular episodes of all. I've personally been to Marco Island many times, and so I thought it would be a good idea for me to do kind of an overview episode where I share everything that I know with you, because it seems that there are a lot of people out there interested in learning about this destination and potentially planning a trip for themselves as well. Now, the reason I've been down there so many times, full disclosure, is because my parents do have a place down there. Often we will do a family trip to visit them and spend some time with my parents and the kids' grandparents down in Marco Island, Florida. But of all the times we've gone down there, we have been able to stay at several of the hotels down there and experience tons of the restaurants and the things to do. So I want to give an overview of everything we've gotten into on our trips to help you plan your trip. Today, we're going to talk about an overview of kind of what the vibe of Marco Island is like, flying in, and if you need a rental car, multiple different places to stay, different price points, things to do for all ages, places to park to get to the beach, all of our favorite restaurants, family friendly and adults only for date nights, and the best place to watch the sunset because Marco Island has a pretty spectacular sunset. So let's get into it. First of all, I want to give a clear description of the vibes in Marco Island. This is a gorgeous barrier island just off the coast of southern Florida. It's south of Naples, Florida, and it's almost as far south as you can go on the Gulf side of Florida before you get to the Everglades. It has a beautiful and upscale vibe, nice tall palm trees, lots of beautiful landscaping, gorgeous resorts and homes. This doesn't have the old Florida feel like Miami Beach Art Deco or kind of that old world Florida vibe in downtown Siesta Key Village. It's not a party scene like you see other places in Florida. It's also not that trashy Florida vibe you get at some places. It's definitely a luxury vibe, but also it's calm and chill. There isn't as much to do in Marco Island as there is in other Florida destinations. You're not going to have go-kart tracks or tons of shopping. This is a place you go to relax. And I wanted to be clear about that because I've done a lot of Instagram reels about Marco Island, Florida, and they almost always go viral. I think people are interested in this spot and want to know more, but plenty are quick to share that they didn't love their trip down there because they were expecting more of what you get in some other towns in Florida. You think about Orlando or the 30A area. There is so much going on. There's also so many people. So this is definitely a different feel of a trip. Very relaxing, still plenty to do if you're strategic, but you want to go here if you love a gorgeous beach and you want to relax in a luxurious environment with your family. Okay, let's talk about getting there. If you're flying in, Fort Myers is the best airport to fly into. From the Fort Myers airport, it's about let's say, hour drive to Marco Island, Florida. You might be able to make it in a little less, but it's about 45 minutes to an hour to Marco Island, Florida. You could rent a car, which I do recommend if you want to explore different parts of the island and maybe spend some time in Naples, but you don't have to. You can definitely catch an Uber or a driver from the Fort Myers airport. They can take you all the way to your hotel or your Airbnb on Marco Island, and you can easily walk places or Uber places once you're down on Marco Island, Florida. Another option is the Punta Gorda Airport. Punta Gorda is about 20 minutes north of the Fort Myers Airport. This makes the drive from Punta Gorda Airport to Marco Island about an hour and 20 minutes. While that is a little longer, budget airlines like Allegiant fly into the Punta Gorda Airport. I think that smaller airport serves Allegiant and Virgin Airlines. I have flown in before to Punta Gorda Airport on Allegiant with my family of 5, and while everybody has their differing opinions on these budget airlines, sometimes it's the best option or the best price, and it just makes sense. So consider looking at Punta Gorda as well. In that case, I would say you probably definitely need to rent a car or a Turo to get you down to Marco Island.
Take your holiday green bean casserole from bland to brilliant with Hatfield Classic Cut Bacon. Start with your traditional casserole recipe. Then add a generous layer of crispy chopped Hatfield bacon on top. The rich, smoky flavor takes this holiday classic from side dish to showstopper. Your guests will savor the upgrade and return for seconds and even thirds. More holiday recipe inspiration awaits at simplyhatfield.com. Hatfield, better care, better pork, better holidays.
Okay, let's talk about places to stay with actual costs. I'm going to talk through 3 different hotels, the JW Marriott Marco Island, the Marriott Crystal Shores, and the Hilton Marco Island, in addition to Airbnbs. We're going to start with the iconic JW Marriott Marco Island. This resort is the reason so many of my Instagram reels and TikToks go viral. This resort is a stunner. It's a super desirable, family-friendly resort that lots of people would love to visit. It can also be extremely expensive at peak times, but it has a lot to offer. I have stayed at the JW Marriott Marco Island on both what I would consider the family-friendly side and the adults-only side. First, we'll talk through the family-friendly side, and then I will get to the adults-only side in a minute. Sometimes, if you wait too long or it's at peak or surge pricing, this hotel can run over $1,000 a night. It is a splurge, but for example, I just looked up our upcoming fall break dates, which is the first full week in October. It's currently May, so I'm looking about 5 months out. And there were standard rooms for $583 a night, which includes the resort fee. And this resort has a lot to offer. Now, I know that's still expensive, but some Marriott loyalists out there might have some points. Or, like I said, this is a stunner of a hotel. This is just as great as so many other places that you can visit. It's just a splurgy hotel, and that's how it's going to be. When you pull up to this property, though, it absolutely takes your breath away. The hotel is built up on a little hill, and the front of the hotel, when you pull up, is just beautifully landscaped, lush gardens, tall palm trees, a huge water feature that almost looks like this massive waterfall cascading down the front of the hotel. It almost looks Polynesian. You feel like you've left the country or you have headed to Hawaii and you are just in South Florida. It is an amazing hotel to pull up to. It has a huge circle drive in the front, and there's plenty of valets ready to help you get your stuff out of the car and park your car for you. Then you walk through the revolving door into the lobby, and the lobby is incredible. Super high ceilings, gorgeous flowers, floor to ceiling windows that just overlook the resort grounds and into the ocean. It's one of those hotel lobbies that you would see on Instagram, and it's just immediately incredible. There's absolutely no way you could be disappointed or unhappy with this lobby. It is like, we have arrived, we are on vacation. If you turn right, that's the regular hotel check-in. And if you were to go left down a little hallway, that's the adults only check-in. Now, when you're booking this hotel online, it looks like you can only book 4 people in a standard room. But the hotel has confirmed with me personally multiple times that you can sleep 5 in a room. It's okay. And just to call and add that person to your reservation. All the standard rooms only have 1 king or 2 queens. So you are going to have to ask for a rollaway, and it is going to be tight. There are other options like suites, connecting rooms, but if you're trying to stick to that 1 room, you are going to have 2 queen beds and need to add a rollaway if you're trying to sleep 5. Again, it won't look like you can book it on the website, but they've said it's okay. The daily resort fee is $55. And like I said, in that price that I looked for in October, where it was $583 a night, this included the resort fee. Sometimes hotels don't have that included, so you can consider this hotel maybe even a little cheaper than that first price I mentioned. But this is what the daily resort fee includes. Each day, it includes 1 beach umbrella and up to 4 beach chairs. There are complimentary pool chairs, but there are also better located pool chairs that are $30 per chair. I don't love this. I wish they didn't do this, but if you miss out on the complimentary chairs, you are going to have to pay $30 to get a better located chair. So as much as it stinks, this is a resort where you want to send down that early riser to get you a complimentary pool chair or a few for your family early in the morning. The resort fee also includes wellness activities. You have access to morning beach yoga or a fitness class each day. There's tennis access, but this is at a different location. They can shuttle you over there, but where their golf and tennis facilities are is at a different spot. But the resort fee includes tennis court rental for up to 2 people for up to 4 hours daily. And it includes daily transportation to and from that resort golf course that I was just talking about, which can get you to the tennis courts and the golf. It also has gorgeous pools, with one with a water slide, and one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen. The JW Marriott Marco Island has 2 main family-friendly pools. One has a water slide into it. Now it's a small to medium water slide. It's not huge, but I would say kids 8 and under would have a good time on it for a while. There's also a little mini kind of splash pad with some water features in the 0 entry area of this pool. And then there's another expansive pool that just kind of has a lot of little water features, palm trees in the middle, places to jump off, plenty of pool space for all the people that visit this resort. There are some other pools, but I'll get into those when we talk about the adults only side. The JW Marriott also always has some fun extras going on, especially on the weekends or over holidays. They push out a Build-A-Bear cart where kids can pick out a Build-A-Bear and add accessories and kind of make it with its stuffing right there by the pool. Sometimes they have a live mermaid in the pool. So someone who's dressed up like a mermaid with a mermaid tail that's literally swimming in the pool, and little kids just get a kick out of that. I've been there when they have an inflatable water slide and a foam party on the beach. So sometimes there's a lot of stuff going on to kind of get kids and families in a lot of different directions with other options of things to do. And then I have to mention the beach. This is the widest beach I've ever seen. It is so wide that some people complain in reviews that it's too wide and they can't deal with walking all the way out there. Now, I love that it's so wide because it allows all these people at this big resort to spread out. So you have so much room on this beach. It's absolutely gorgeous. Consider it just like your morning walk to get down to the water. One thing I will mention is that it is a very shelly beach. There are a lot of shells, which is super fun for kids. Definitely bring a little shell bag with you in your beach supplies because your kids will be finding tons of shells. But with that comes a lot of those broken shells down by the water. We don't mind. We don't really wear water shoes, and we're completely fine spending an entire day on the beach. But if your kids are sensitive and don't really like that feeling, you might want to get some water shoes for them for your time on the beach. Or if you want to walk the beach, you might want to consider some sort of waterproof beach walking shoes. Again, I walk the beach every time I'm down there, and I don't really have an issue. There's also a spa, which will be a nice segue into the adults only area. The spa, funny enough, is actually not in the adults only area. It's in a different wing, but it is a big, beautiful spa. You can spend an entire afternoon there. There's the relaxing room, the treatment rooms, and then they actually have their own private pool just for spa guests. It's outdoors. It even comes with poolside service. So once you're done with your treatment, you can sit by a pool, get a snack, get a drink, and enjoy an adults only pool without even having to leave the spa. So let's talk a bit about the adults only side as well. If you want a relaxing escape and getaway, this is a lovely place to have it. Like I said, when you walk into the beautiful lobby, if you turn left, you head to the adults only side, which they call Paradise by Serene. These are actual rooms you need to book on the website. If you want a room in the adults only side, you need to book a Paradise by Serene room. For the exact same dates I was just talking about, if I wanted to book a Paradise by Serene room in early October over our fall break, it is currently $652 a night. Now, this includes on the website right now free breakfast and a $100 nightly resort credit, which is pretty awesome. So I would say that brings that fee down, or that price point down to closer to $500 a night, because each night you can use that $100 resort credit toward dinner or drinks or the spa. And the free breakfast that comes with the adults only side is lovely. It is up in the adults only restaurant, which is called Tesoro. This is on the 4th or 5th floor of the JW Marriott. It is a beautiful deck that overlooks the ocean. They have lots of delicious options for breakfast. I've eaten there. I was amazed that it was included and free. Lovely breakfast spot, and it's adults only, so it's quite relaxing. This restaurant is also on the same level as the adults only infinity pool, which is such a dream. Adults only lounge chairs, an infinity pool that overlooks the ocean, and a hot tub and poolside service here as well if you want a snack or drink. And it is quite relaxing. Last time we were there, we spent more time on the beach and just ended the day at the infinity pool. And I was like, oh, I wish we would have come up here earlier because this is such a dream. Let's get into some of the restaurants at this property. So first of all, they serve breakfast in a restaurant called Maya, Maia. This is not your traditional hotel breakfast buffet. This is the ultimate breakfast buffet. Now, you do have to pay for this. So maybe pick one day to try it. I can't remember the exact price points, but it's one of those splurgy, like $35 a person type breakfast buffet, but it has everything made to order: omelets, pancakes, Belgian waffles. Literally, you guys have been to gorgeous breakfast buffets. This is a gorgeous one. I wouldn't do it every day, but I do recommend trying it at least once. Right when you walk into that hotel lobby, the stunner of a hotel lobby, off to the right is a restaurant that has tons of fish tanks around it. It's called Corals with a K, and Corals is a sushi spot. So if you love sushi, that's where you're going to get that. Down the steps in the main lobby is a very fancy schmancy restaurant called Ario, Ario. This is the first place I tried caviar, and I felt so bougie, and I actually loved it, which was kind of a problem because I was like, shoot, I don't need to like caviar because it's extremely expensive, but they had these little flaky salted crackers and cream fresh and the black caviar. And I was like, this is the saltiest, creamiest, most delicious bite I've ever had. Ario is high-end seafood. I would never bring my kids there, but if you're there staying on the adult side and you want a fancy fine dining experience, that's where you're going to go. Outside, down by the beach, is a restaurant called Quinn's. This looks Polynesian. It has big high ceilings and ceiling fans. This has some of your traditional beach fare, like a fish taco or a burger, but it also has higher end seafood options as well. We used to go there a lot because they had a great kids menu. The last couple times we've been there, they haven't had a kids menu, which honestly shocks me because it's right next to the pool. So just check and see if they have, I'm sure they've started a kids menu again, or what options they can make for kids. I'm sure, some restaurants might not have a menu, but they can say, okay, we can do pasta with butter or mac and cheese or something. So just check on the kids menu there. But Quinn's is a lovely option that's beachside and poolside. Another beachside option is called the Cane Tiki Bar. This has things like coconut shrimp and delicious beachy cocktails, outdoor seating at the Cane Tiki Bar. And then they newly remodeled their pizza spot. They've always had a pizza and pasta spot, but now it's called Mosaico, like a mosaic, but Mosaico. And this has pizza and light bites as well. So that could be a good spot to check out. And then there is a nice little cafe inside that has your coffees, your cappuccinos, your muffins, your breakfast sandwiches, and kind of like grab and go options. And then, like I mentioned before, on the adults only side, the only adults only restaurant is called Tesoro. That's again on that fourth or fifth pool deck floor of the adults only side. That's where your free breakfast is. You can also eat there any time of day, and it services the pool, the adult only pool as well. This is the best spot to have an evening dinner drink or flatbread. It's a Mediterranean restaurant, and watch the sunset. They have an amazing outdoor deck with live music, and the sun sets perfectly out over in the middle of the ocean, and it is truly one of the most relaxing places to watch the sunset, but you do have to be 18 or 21 plus because it's on the adults only side. The one thing some people complain about is that the rooms are a little outdated here. It's not like they're bad by any means. They just were built a while ago, and this is a gorgeous resort, so they were done well, but they just haven't been updated in a minute. Actually, let me look up real quick on my handy dandy chat GPT. They were scheduled for a renovation, and I just want to see if that is coming or started. Okay, no, there is no plan at the moment for them to be renovated, which is good news. It means the hotel won't be under renovation. But I would just say the rooms are great, fine, a good hotel room, extremely comfortable beds. But you can look up, images yourself just so you know what the hotel room looks like. Okay, I think that's everything about the JW Marriott Marco Island. This property is seriously so fun, such a stunner. It looks like you have left the US and you are in some amazing tropical destination. If it works with your budget, I would say go for it. There are so many fun, cute families walking around. They have those long corridors with like cute boutiques and shops and kid stores, and you will have a ball at the JW Marriott Marco Island. Now we're going to go down in price point just a bit, not much, to the Marriott Crystal Shores. Marriott Crystal Shores is all 2 or 3 bedroom villas, and it's kind of like a vacation rental club timeshare property, but you can still stay there if you are not an owner. But that's kind of how it's set up. Again, I'm looking at October dates, our fall break. A 2-bedroom villa you can get for $550 a night through the Marriott Crystal Shores website or through websites like Red Week that rent out owner places. But these are like spacious 2-bedroom villas with a kitchen table, a full kitchen, a split floor plan with a living room in the middle. Like if you've got a big group, you're getting way more space for that $500-ish a night at the Marriott Crystal Shores than you are at the JW Marriott Marco Island. Now, this does not have as stunning of a lobby. It has a standard lobby, but the rooms are fabulous, updated, and spacious. You kind of feel like you're in an oceanfront apartment for a week and you just live at the beach. They also have 2 family pools. They have their grotto pool, which we loved, and we set up shop at one full day because it has a water slide as well. Great for kids. It's pretty shaded as well, which is nice for kids. And then they have a big main pool with tons of seating and a poolside restaurant and bar called Stilts that you can order from all day long. They also have a pizza spot. So they don't have quite as many amenities, but they do have 2 pools, a water slide, a restaurant, and gorgeous beachfront. All the beach areas in Marco Island are gorgeous. You won't be disappointed if you choose the Marriott Crystal Shores. And then we're going to go down in price point even a little bit more and talk about the Hilton Marco Island. This is also a lovely hotel, nice, lovely hotel lobby. It's $277 a night for a standard room the week that I was looking at in fall break, October coming up. They have one main restaurant that's kind of like in the lobby as a bar and then kind of moves around and has a deck component as well where you can eat kind of beachfront and poolside. The Hilton Marco Island is what my very first episode 1 of the Trip Tales podcast is about. And on that episode, she talked about how all the pool chairs and beach chairs have little flags that you just flip up if you need something, which I think is so fun and so smart because it's no fun trying to wave down a server. This way they can glance around and see, oh, these 2 pool chairs are looking for service. I don't know why I think that's so fun, but I just love the little flags on the chairs. Again, beautiful beach access, and all 3 of these hotels are along the same beach. So as you walked the beach, you'd see all 3 of these separate hotels. And then the last option where you could be really creative with your price is Airbnbs. So I looked the same week in October and there were about 60 available Airbnbs. You know, we're on an island, so it's not like there's going to be thousands and thousands of choices, but there were a lot of options from $300 to $400 a night that were along the beach or across from the beach or within a 10-minute walk of the beach. So that is something to consider as well.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Okay, let's talk about things to do. Obviously, you're going to spend a lot of time at your pools and a lot of time at the beach. Now, if you're not staying at one of these hotels with your own beach access, there are public beach access points and there are 2 parking lots. They are small though on Marco Island. So I would recommend the priority should be that you're within walking distance of the beach. You don't want to try to park to go to the beach on Marco Island because there just aren't that many spots. But if that's the situation you're in, there are 2 parking lots. One's called the South Marco Beach Access Lot. You can look that up. It only has 70 parking spots. And the parking fee is $10 per day for non-residents, which is not too bad. Payable via credit card on site. There's also a lot called the Turtle Lot. The Turtle Lot is kind of on the same stretch of street, just a little bit different of a location. It has about 80 to 90 parking spots, and it's a short walk to the same public beach access point. This is about $9 per day. So again, there's 2 parking lots. If you want to use these to get beach access, you want to go to those as early as possible. Otherwise, like I said, I recommend being within walking distance to the beach. So outside of beach and pool, one thing that happens almost every time we're in Marco Island is that we see dolphins. You might see dolphins just playing on the beach. We have seen them so many times just out in the water playing around while we are enjoying the beach. In addition, if you want to guarantee to see dolphins, you can take some excursions out on a boat. There are a lot of choices. You can visit Viator, which is TripAdvisor's website that is now congregating all excursion activities on a vacation in one spot. You can see all the reviews. You can book through there, get everything you need through Viator. So I'm just going to share the ones that I know about that I think you might enjoy. So we always go out on the Calusa Spirit, Calusa, Calusa Spirit. I'll put it in the show notes. The reason we've been out on this boat before is because it picks up literally in front of the JW Marriott Marco Island and the Marriott Crystal Shores, and probably the Hilton as well. It stops at a handful of hotels. Literally, it pulls up to the beach. So you walk out from your hotel to the beach and the boat is waiting for you. You can also book this if you're not staying at one of those hotels. We've done this when we're staying at my parents'. We just book the excursion and then walk out to the beach in front of that hotel that it's picking up from. I've booked this one on their website, which is marcoislandwatersports.com. Again, I'll put that in the show notes. It's a little pricey. It's like $100 a person, but you are guaranteed to see so many dolphins, cool birds, sometimes manatees. The people who run this boat are extremely knowledgeable marine biologists, and they give you so much information as you are going along. You're going to learn a ton about dolphins, manatees, the different birds that are native to the area. They're really good with like answering kids' questions. Now, this is like an eco tour. So it's kind of like a pontoon boat looking thing. You're not like on a high speed boat, but it's really fun to get out on the water and see all the dolphins playing. They'll talk about the dolphin families and the brothers and sisters, and you'll see babies playing. And every time I've gone out, we've had a lovely, enjoyable time. In addition to the dolphin portion of it, they pull up to a uninhabited island that is full of shells, tons and tons of shells. You get off the boat, you can bring your little shelling bags. The kids can bring home some souvenirs, some beautiful shells, and you can also just go swimming in the ocean water right there on this uninhabited island. It's a really fun excursion, the Calusa Spirit. Another fun boat day is going to visit the island of Keewaydin. This is spelled Keewaydin. This is another uninhabited barrier island that is gorgeous to visit just because it's kind of untouched. But the fun thing about it is instead of having food trucks, this island has boat trucks. It's one of the cutest things I've ever seen. They have a boat, like one's called Just Beachy Burgers and More, and it is a floating boat that is kind of anchored right near the water's edge at Keewaydin that you can walk up to and get, I'm not kidding, one of the best cheeseburgers I've ever had in my life. I feel like it was a true cheeseburger in paradise moment. Maybe it's just because I was on an island eating a cheeseburger. It probably tastes better. But to be all the way out on an uninhabited island and get a delicious cheeseburger is just wild. They also have a pink ice cream boat that you can walk up to and get ice cream from. And sometimes there's even some bar boat options as well to get adult beverages. This is a place super chill, but you can shell, swim, spend an afternoon just feeling like you are Jimmy Buffett having a cheeseburger in paradise. There's a couple ways to get to Keewaydin. One is called the Hemingway Water Shuttle, which actually departs the main marina on Marco Island is called Rose Marina. And there's a shuttle that offers daily trips to Keewaydin Island. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes each way. This would be a great simple excursion where you just book this ferry, spend a couple hours on Keewaydin, and then come back later in the day. Of course, you can also get a private boat rental through an excursion company that you could find on Viator. But Keewaydin is a super unique island to spend some time at. In addition, you can do jet skiing tours, which are always kind of fun. You can kayak the mangroves. So a lot of Marco Island is made up of these mangroves, the low plant tree looking bushes that kind of grow over each other, and you can kind of kayak through them. There's a lot of different tours that offer that. So just go ahead and look up the one that works best for your budget and your family. And then another popular thing to do down on Marco Island is to take a fishing excursion. So you can, do the deep sea fishing thing, or you can actually stay kind of close and do like a slower, calmer fish. And the fun thing about Marco Island is that if you catch an edible fish, you can get it prepared at a restaurant on Marco Island called Cocomo's. So Cocomo's has a you hook it and we cook it option. So if you take a fishing excursion, you can take your fish on ice over to Cocomo's. They can prepare it for you, and then you can have it for dinner at that restaurant, which I just think is such a fun option. We haven't done that yet, but it is on our list to do with our son when we're down there. Another fun family-friendly activity is right in front of the JW Marriott. Every night at sunset, there is a fire show. Every night, weather permitting, as long as it's not super windy or super rainy, there is someone from a native tribe of South Florida that comes out and does a traditional fire show. Now, it's usually one person. It's not like the greatest fire show of all time, but it's definitely entertaining for kids to watch and something to do. You don't have to be staying at the hotel to see it. Like I said, it takes place right at the beach, kind of like by the main pool and that Quinn's restaurant I was talking about. You'll see people start gathering every night at sunset. You can watch a free fire show. Kind of makes you feel like you're on a tropical island. Okay, this one is for those of you that have littles. I would say 5 or 6 and under. There is a pirate ship that is also docked at that same Rose Marina I was talking about before. It's called the Pirates of Marco Island. They do a great job of being in character. They take you out on a pirate ship, and then the bad pirate comes to try to get you on a little dinghy, and you can spray him with water guns that are on the side of the ship. It's kind of like a full adventure where you're trying to save the day and find the treasure. And at the end, you do find the treasure, and all the kids get a little goodie bag, like a treasure bag, maybe with like gold coins or some coins and candy in it. It is a fun and silly and quirky little excursion. Again, for the younger kids, but a great way to spend an afternoon on the water would be the Pirates of Marco Island. If you're a golf or putt-putt loving family, one thing we do every trip is visit Marco Garden and Golf. This is a simple putt-putt course, but it is pretty because it is also a garden and golf location. So the landscaping's really pretty. And it doesn't have a lot of those crazy, carnival looking, twirling features on the holes. It's just a pretty putt-putt course. But if you love a good round of golf, it's cheap, it's easy, it's fun, and it's a crowd pleaser. Again, if you have littles, there is a big park called Mackle Park. That's spelled Mackle. Mackle Park has a splash pad, a huge playground, lots of space to run around. So if you want some time for the littles just to play, Mackle Park is a great place to visit. And then lastly, if it's raining, I forgot to mention this when I was talking about the JW Marriott Marco Island, but inside the JW Marriott Marco Island is an arcade called 10K Alley. This is a fabulous, fun, big arcade. There's even like a glow-in-the-dark putt-putt in the back, skee ball, all the arcade games, tickets, the checkout shop at the end. Now, you're going to spend a pretty penny here, because all the fancy arcades now you do. But if it's pouring or if you just need to take a break from the sun, 10K Alley is a fun spot. Typically, you can visit here if you're not a hotel guest. You can just walk in and go over there. Sometimes if they're at capacity, the JW Marriott will not allow people to eat in their restaurants or to visit the arcade if it's at full capacity. So you might want to call and check on that. But 10K Alley is a great spot to visit for some kid fun. They also have a good restaurant and full bar in 10K Alley. So you can have a full meal there or a drink or whatnot.
Head to Safeway this week and enjoy these amazing deals. Clip coupons from the weekly mailer or download them from the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. Signature Select 80% lean ground beef mega pack, 6 pounds or more, just $3.99 per pound. Mix and match 1 pound strawberries, 6-ounce blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries for $2.99 each when you buy 3. And take up to 30% off all sparkling wines when you buy 6 or more 750 milliliter or larger bottles. See you in the aisles.
Okay, speaking of eating, we're going to talk about some of our favorite places to eat. We'll start with family friendly, and then we'll move into places where I would consider it more of like an adults only date night type spot. But if you're there with a big family or not, because these places are delicious no matter what, these are the ones that I would bring my kids to. First and foremost, let's start with breakfast. We love to go to Doreen's Cup of Joe. Doreen's has been a staple on the island for years and years. It is a shabby chic, cute breakfast spot with delicious food, anything you can imagine, breakfast burrito, omelets, eggs Benedict. It is a popular spot, no reservations. So again, show up early or just be prepared to wait and have a smile on your face while you wait your turn. But Doreen's, you don't want to miss. Joey's Pizza is another simple spot. We typically take that out or get that delivered. So if you want to just have pizza on the beach one night, pizza in your room, pizza at the Airbnb, call Joey's Pizza, order a couple pizzas, go pick them up if you have a car. If not, get them delivered to your hotel. That's a great dinner option for one night. Snook Inn is a staple on Marco Island. You've got to see it if you're there. Again, it's been there for years and years. It actually got destroyed during Hurricane Ian and has been rebuilt. And it is better than ever. It is a big outdoor thatched roof island bar and grill. This is where you're going to get your fried fish baskets, your fried fish grouper sandwich, fried shrimp and fries. They're going to have live music. It's going to be so happening by 4:30 p.m. You won't even believe it. We've tried to go at 5 and we've waited 45 minutes if we show up at 5 p.m. So again, be prepared to wait with a smile on your face. Go early or middle of day if you want to experience it without a wait. This is also a place that people pull their boats up to enjoy Snook Inn as well. So there are boat slots. A really funny note about Snook Inn is right when you show up, there's a big Manatee mailbox that's decorated sometimes with lace or a hat or a Hawaiian shirt. And his name is Milton. And during Hurricane Milton, a resident found this Manatee mailbox just floating away and scooped it up and asked anyone on all the Marco Island Facebook pages, is this anyone's mailbox? Well, no one claimed him. So because he was washed away in Hurricane Milton, they named him Milton, and he has become quite famous on Marco Island. So now you can go to Snook Inn and take a picture with Milton. You can put tips in Milton's mailbox for the staff at Snook Inn. It is a super fun little quirky story about Marco Island and Milton the manatee. And then the last family-friendly spot I want to talk about is actually on the island of Capri. There's another little teeny barrier island right there called Isle of Capri. And if you've got a rental car, you can go over there. Island Gypsy is a big outdoor, delicious restaurant. Great seafood, great entree options, but also can be family-friendly because it's outdoors and casual, but you're going to get amazing food. I believe you can make reservations there, so go ahead and call Island Gypsy ahead of time and make a reservation on Isle of Capri. And this will just be a fun way for you to see another barrier island and enjoy a meal. In addition, we're going to move into places to eat as adults only or a date night type spot, or, you could eat at these places with teens as well. But let's stay on the Isle of Capri, which is just right near Marco Island, a short 10-minute car drive away. There's another restaurant called Capri Fish House. I love this spot. It's a little thatched roof hut, but then there's also some tables down by the water where your feet could be in the water. Again, delicious seafood, rainbow colored vegetables, nice prepared seafood. It's just a smaller operation and some higher end menu items. So I probably wouldn't bring my kids here, but you could. They often have live music, singer-songwriter, islandy type guitar going. So check out Capri Fish House if you can. Again, you can make a reservation there if you'd like to. One of the hotter spots on Marco Island is called Oyster Society. This is going to be your restaurant with a vibe. It has low lighting and loungy seating up front, a nice bar, typically live music. You can get fresh oysters here, sushi, all the seafood that you could imagine. We like to go here typically at least once on a date night when we're in Marco Island. It is sometimes a tough reservation to get, so go ahead and book your reservation for this place 3 weeks or up to a month or more out of your trip just to make sure you get a spot. But this is a really fun and delicious seafood place to visit. I already mentioned Tesoro, which is on that 4th or 5th floor of the JW Marriott, that has delicious Mediterranean food and a view of the sunset that you truly don't want to miss. That is such a vibe. And that one is actually adults only. That's the only one that's truly adults only. And then this is the little local plug from my mom who has a place down there. She says the best seafood on the island is called Fin Bistro. Any local will tell you Fin Bistro is where it's at. My husband and I ate there and the vibe was just not quite as vibey as some of these other spots. It's a little bit quieter and more upscale of a standard seafood restaurant. But if you're a foodie and you want the best fish on the island, Fin Bistro is where you want to go for a date night. Now, in addition to our restaurant recommendations, I also wanted to mention that there is a Publix and a Winn-Dixie on the island that I have Instacarted from before. You can also visit it with a rental car. So if you are staying in a 2-bedroom villa at the Marriott Crystal Shores or an Airbnb, or even if you just want to stock up on snacks and breakfast items for one of the other hotels, Publix and Winn-Dixie are there for you to grab everything you need at a reasonable price. Okay, let's talk about the best place to watch the sunset. I feel like I've already given this up, but it's definitely Tesoro. Hands down, it is such a magical experience. When the sun sets every night, people still clap. It's like it happens every night, but it still feels like magic. And then honestly, if you're with a family or if you just want a relaxing spot to watch the sunset, anywhere on that main strip of beach is just a gorgeous spot to relax. You will see people up and down the entire beach stretch. You will see people taking family photos. You will see lots of teen girls taking photos of each other. It is the most picturesque sunset because the sun sets straight in the middle of the water along the beach, and it is like, just feels like something special each time I see it. Okay, we are keeping this one short and sweet, and I feel like I covered everything. If you have any questions, you can always DM me on Instagram. I'm just my name, Kelsey_Graves on Instagram. I'm always responding to my DMs. I often will screenshot a DM and share it with the rest of my followers because if you have the question, someone else probably does as well. I'm always sharing all of my travels, and there's tons of highlight bubbles about Marco Island over there. If you just want to see some of these places in person, check out the Marco Island highlight bubbles or the JW Marriott Marco Island highlight bubble. And I will end this episode the same way I end every episode, which is if someone out there is considering this trip, what is it about Marco Island that would make me say, just book it? I say just book Marco Island if you are looking for a luxurious Florida vacation. You don't want to leave the country, but you kind of want to feel like you did. You're ready for a little bit of a splurgy trip that feels relaxing and lovely. It might not have as many row after row things to do, go-kart tracks, rides. Those are different parts of Florida. This is a relaxing, luxurious, beautiful island. Oh, I forgot to mention one last thing, which is for family friendly, Sweet Annie's is the best ice cream shop on the island. It also has an old school candy shop side where, I don't know if I should admit this on this podcast, but I think I'm going to. The last time we were there, my son bought candy cigarettes. So it's got all those old school candy options. It's a really fun spot for a family to stop for a sweet treat. Your family's going to have a great time on Marco Island. It's one of the most beautiful beaches. If you're staying at a hotel, the pool days are long and fun. There's plenty of options to get out on the water with all of the excursions I talked about. And I really do believe that this is a very special, unique spot in Florida that won't be like your other Florida vacations. So that's what I've got for you today. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe or follow this podcast wherever you're listening to it so you can hear all the upcoming destinations that we've got. Each week, a real person shares a real trip story about somewhere they've been. And there are currently over 60 episodes that we've already recorded of amazing trip spots that will give you vacation inspiration and all the practical planning tips you need to plan your own adventures. I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Trip Tales. Don't forget to subscribe or follow the show, leave a review, or buy me a coffee. And if you do, you can picture me doing an actual happy dance. Also, if you have a trip you'd like to share about on the podcast, send an email to kelsey@triptalespodcast.com and we'll get you on the schedule. I'll see you on the next episode of Trip Tales.
Take your holiday green bean casserole from bland to brilliant with Hatfield Classic Cut Bacon. Start with your traditional casserole recipe. Then add a generous layer of crispy chopped Hatfield bacon on top. The rich, smoky flavor takes this holiday classic from side dish to showstopper. Your guests will savor the upgrade and return for seconds and even thirds. More holiday recipe inspiration awaits at simplyhatfield.com. Hatfield, better care, better pork, better holidays.